Wisconsin to appeal FEMA aid denial after August floods. Governor Tony Evers says the decision sends the wrong message to communities still reeling from $26.5 million. The Trump administration has denied Wisconsin's request for federal disaster assistance for 6 counties impacted by severe storms and flooding in August, prompting Governor Tony Evers to file an appeal to ensure affected communities receive recovery support. The denial comes despite validated damages exceeding $26.5 million across Door, Grant, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Washington, and Waukesha counties. Evers called the decision disheartening, emphasizing that it delays rebuilding efforts and undermines the role of federal disaster programs. Denying federal assistance doesn't just delay recovery, it sends a message that our communities are on their own, he said in a statement from the office of the governor. Federal denial sparks political and economic fallout. In its letter to the state, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, acknowledged that the damage to households and infrastructure was substantial, but concluded that the scale did not warrant public assistance funding. The public assistance program typically supports state, local, and tribal governments and certain nonprofits by providing grants to restore roads, bridges, utilities, and public facilities. The Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, which could provide funding for future risk reduction, remains under review. Evers' administration now has 30 days to appeal. Wisconsin Emergency Management, WEM, is compiling additional documentation of public sector and nonprofit losses. The storms prompted Evers to declare a state of emergency on August 11th after flooding and infrastructure damage stretched across multiple counties. Preliminary assessments conducted jointly by FEMA, WEM, and local officials confirmed the threshold for federal disaster aid had been met. Partisan patterns in FEMA disaster decisions. The denial follows a pattern seen in Maryland, where the Trump administration also rejected federal disaster aid after the May 2025 floods devastated Allegheny and Garrett counties, 2 areas that overwhelmingly voted Republican. In Wisconsin, the political makeup of the affected counties is mixed. Kamala Harris carried Door, 50.6%, and Milwaukee, 68.3% counties. Donald Trump won Grant, 58.4%, Ozaukee, 54.6%, Washington, 67.6%, and Waukesha, 59.2% counties. While there is no direct evidence of political influence in FEMA's decision, the emerging geographic trend raises questions about how disaster declarations are assessed and whether communities' political leanings could indirectly shape outcomes when funding thresholds are met. What's at stake for recovery? The $26.5 million in eligible costs includes public building restoration, road and bridge repairs, debris removal, and utility system repairs. Without federal assistance, local governments must cover recovery expenses largely on their own, potentially drawing from limited state emergency funds or municipal reserves. Evers underscored that the issue extends beyond Wisconsin's borders. The federal government should not expect our communities to go through this alone, he said. We are going to fight tooth and nail to ensure they get every possible resource to rebuild and recover. The appeal process is expected to take several weeks. If FEMA upholds its denial, Wisconsin could pursue partial funding through the Small Business Administration or state-level recovery programs. But the scale of losses makes federal participation essential to full recovery. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites presented by E+E Leader. For partnership opportunities, reach out to a member of our team.